Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome retired Lieutenant General Mike Flynn.
I just can't make her cry.
Wow. Wow. Woo! God, I think there's about another 1,000 outside, too. Thank you so much, Colorado. Thank you. Woo! Love that hat. I love that hat. Yeah, hey, you know what? First of all, thanks for being here today, and thanks to Colorado, because we are going to win Colorado big time. Big time. Look at that guy over there. I love it. I love it. How many women do we have in here for Donald Trump? You know, there's a lot of, when you watch the media, and honest to God, I mean, one of the things that this election is showing is how biased the media is against Donald Trump. It's unbelievable. It is. It's unbelievable. I mean, I'm watching as we were rolling, getting ready to come in here this morning. We're watching all these people talk about polls, this and that. I mean, yesterday we were in Ohio, late yesterday. We arrived 2 hours late. There was about 8,000 to 10,000 people there that showed up, and it's one of the largest recorded in their history in this pavilion. Across the river the day prior, Hillary Clinton could barely get 500 people. You know, all this stuff that just came out tomorrow, and I'm telling you, I'm sick. I've had it up to here with Hillary Clinton and the scandals. I mean, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. And this country, the American people need to put the Clintons in our rearview mirror and say goodbye. I mean, when is enough enough? I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. I mean, are we going to just continue on with more scandals, more criminal activity? I mean, look at the judgment of the people that she has put around her. Look at the kind of people that she has put around her. I mean, this business that we saw just yesterday is just another piece of evidence of why we do not need this corrupt government called Hillary Clinton inside of Washington, D.C. or inside the Oval Office. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Look at that way out there. Wow. This is very serious. This election like no other in my life, and when I look at the history of our country, our great country, this election is for the very heart and soul of the United States of America. And you know it. You know it. It's actually for our children and our grandchildren. It's not just for the next 4 years. It's for the next 40 or for the next 400 years. And you know it. You know it. The people in our country are tired of the lack of leadership that we see in Washington, D.C., the lack of honesty. I mean, there's unbelievable. The level of dishonesty that comes out of Washington, D.C. these days it's stunning. And the people of our country, I know because I feel this, I am sick of it. I'm tired of the baloney that we see coming out of Washington, D.C., and frankly, the lack of honesty. What Donald Trump is going to bring to America and to the American people is honesty from the United States government on down. How many veterans do we have out here today? Veterans. I'm a veteran. I love it. I love it. Yeah. I mean, we have illegal immigrants being treated better than our veterans. That's a shame. That's unbelievable. That should never happen. It never happen. Never happen. I mean, unbelievable. I mean, our veterans, the men and women who have served our nation, whether it's been for 4 years or for almost 40, they should be treated like they should be treated like gold. We should cherish them. They deserve our respect. And when we see the way that our veterans are treated around this country, it's unbelievable. It's this level of dishonesty that keeps coming out of our government in Washington, D.C. There's a bubble that exists there, and they just forget about the American people. All they want is they want your vote every couple of years, and then they just want you to go away and shut up. They don't want you to say anything. This time, this election is about our voice. I mean, for me, the last time I was involved in politics was high school. We have such a cesspool in our political system right now. Donald J. Trump is coming in to clean that up, to drain that swamp. Drain that swamp is right. Beautiful. It's serious. This is serious business. The other thing that is at risk, and this is where I talk about, Donald's hit this. He's been talking about this for a long time, is the Supreme Court of the United States of America. If we see our government being taken over by the sort of the progressive movement, which is essentially a politically correct way of saying socialist, okay? And then all of a sudden we see 3 or 4 Supreme Court justices picked in the next 4 years potentially. Our system, our way of life will completely turn in a different direction. It'll be a direction that our children and our grandchildren will not understand. And so this is a big deal. This is a very, very important aspect of this election is the Supreme Court of the United States. Don't forget that. The other thing that I like to talk about is this is a sort of what I call a digital election. One of the things that's out there in the world of social media is a hashtag MAGA3X. That means when you go to vote, grab 3 of your neighbors and take them with you. Now, in your state, you guys have a different way. You got to sort of mail it in there. So make sure that you're knocking on doors. Make sure that you're argue with your neighbors. Argue with your family members if you have to. I have 9 brothers and sisters, and I'm telling you, I love to argue with them. We debate all the time. We debate all the time about which direction we want our country to go. And the way I want my country to go is the way that my father and my mother left it for me. A place that I believe is better than every place else on the planet. And Donald Trump's vision is very, very simple. It's make America great again. And he's going to do that. He's going to do that. Look at all these people back here. Oh my God. See, the media is going to show right here. They're going to show a couple of hundred. This is unreal. And this is happening all over the place. So when he talks about a movement, this is happening all over the place. It's unreal. We were out in, I think it's Grand Junction, Colorado, out west. Yeah, I love it. I love it. And we were told maybe, 1,500, 2,000 people are going to show up. There were 10,000 people that showed up. 10,000. It's amazing. And even here, like the numbers that we were told, we might have this, we might have that. I'll tell you, there's double the amount of people that we were told they're going to show up. So thank you so much for being here. Another group in our country that's under assault is the men and women who serve our law enforcement, our police forces, our law enforcement. And there's a bunch of them. There's some here. There's some in the back here. There's some in the back there that I can see. Our law enforcement professionals deserve our absolute respect. If there's one thing that makes us different, I've been all over the world, if there's one thing that makes us different than all other countries in the world, is something called the rule of law. And that rule of law is fought for every day on the front line of our streets by the men and women who serve in blue. Blue lives definitely matter. Here you go. I love it. I love it. What we need is leadership. We need big, tough, savvy, smart, intellectually courageous leadership, and that's what Donald Trump is going to bring to this country. That's what we need. So before I finish, I just want to say again, we are deeply, deeply honored by having all of you show up here today. Make sure you get out there and vote. Vote the way, vote to your heart, but vote for this country. And that's what I vote for. I vote for leaders. I vote for leadership, and that's why I'm standing up here for Donald Trump. Donald Trump is going to be a great president. Donald Trump is going to win on the 8th of November. And for the people of Colorado, I'll tell you, because we get all these updates and stuff like that, and I know, because I come from a small town in our country, back on the East Coast, and grew up in an Irish family. I'll tell you what, I'm not a deplorable anymore. I'm not irredeemable. I'm an American, and I want to be respected. So, ladies and gentlemen, I know Donald Trump's going to come out here in just a few minutes, and he really, really honors the fact that you're here today. Thank you very much, and God bless America.
From Detroit down to Houston.
Wow. Thank you. What a crowd. What a crowd. Thank you very much. So I spent a long time this morning on making my shoes so beautiful, so shiny. And then I walked through more dusty floors than I've ever seen in my life. But that's okay, it was worth it. That is great. So, hey, I'll tell you, we have something so important to talk about. You gotta get those ballots in, right? And I was gonna bring my political director up, but we don't have to do that, do we? Now, we have a booth right on premises, you know that. And you can go there and you can do whatever you have to do. If you don't have your ballot, they give you another one and they void your one at home. And then, of course, the other side would send that one in too, but, you know, we don't do that stuff. We don't do that stuff. You know, because if you listen to President Obama, that never takes place. Except 8 years ago, he was saying it did take place, right? He said it took place in Chicago. Of course, he said really good things about Obamacare, too, and that didn't work out, you know. Remember, he said you could keep your doctor, you could keep your plan, Boy, oh boy, this country. Got the greatest country in the world, but we will make America great again. Believe me, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. So go out, you got to do. We have a movement like they've never seen. Go out when we're finished, or if you want to leave even earlier, that's okay with me. I won't be insulted. But everybody, who, by the way, has sent in their ballot? That's pretty good. All right, so it's probably 70%. We got to get them in because I have real problems with ballots being sent. Does that make sense? Like people say, oh, here's a ballot here's another ballot, throw it away, oh, here's one I like, we'll keep that one. I have real problems, so get your ballots in. We're trying to have some pretty good supervision out there, and we have a lot of people watching you people that collect the ballots. We got a lot of people watching the people that collect the ballots. Now the, dishonest media will say, oh, that wasn't nice. Everything is so honest. Everything in our country. We have 1.8 million people that are dead registered to vote, right? And some of them vote. I wonder how that happens. We have 2.7 million people on more than one state. They're registered in 2 states and sometimes more than that. And I could go on and on and on. But let's assume the best. So you got to go and you got to do that. Otherwise, our great movement that's never been seen, nothing like this has ever been seen in this country, and even these dishonest people back there will admit that. And you have to go and you have to send those ballots in. And you also have some areas where you can vote in Colorado, but I guess it's mostly ballots, so just do and send them in, and if you want to vote, vote. Whatever the hell you have to do, do it. In 10 days, we are going to win the state of Colorado, and we are going to win back the White House. Early voting is underway, so make sure you get out and vote, meaning what we just said. One of the most important reasons you have to vote is that we can immediately, without question, so simply, repeal and replace the disaster known as Obamacare. You see what's happening to your premiums? First of all, it's no good, it doesn't work. On top of that, your premiums are going up 60, 70, 80%. In the great state of Arizona, their premiums are going up this year 116%. Now, they sent out a directive from the White House. They were trying to say 25%. You should be so lucky. They say, we'll go up about 25%. We haven't found too many of them. It's out of control. It's no good. It's just been announced that the citizens of Colorado are going to be experiencing a crushing double-digit hike. Now, the number is so big that I refuse to tell you what it is because I want you to leave here happy. But when you see what it is next week, you are going to be very, very angry. And remember this, crooked Hillary Clinton wants to double up and triple up on Obamacare. You're going to spend more money and you're going to get even less. And with deductibles being where they are, you'll never, ever get to use it. On top of that, 1 in 5 consumers on Colorado's individual market will have to pay their plans, and you're going to have to find out that your plan is going to be canceled, absolutely canceled, null and void in the year 2017. 90% of the counties in Colorado are losing their insurers, no insurers. Doctors are quitting, companies are fleeing, and deductibles are going so high that, as I say all the time, it doesn't work, it's no good, you'll never get to use it. Workers' hours are being cut and hiring is being frozen. Obamacare is a catastrophe for Colorado. Look, it is a total catastrophe for Colorado, but it's a catastrophe for the United States of America and our businesses. Even Bill Clinton admitted that Obamacare is the craziest thing in the world, he said, where people wind up with their premiums doubled and their coverage cut in half. It's actually worse than that. In Minnesota, where the premium increase will be close to 60%, the Democratic governor just said the Affordable Care Act is no longer affordable. Jonathan Gruber, MIT, my uncle was up at MIT. I like my uncle much better. The architect of Obamacare admitted it was a fraud, and he said it was passed because of the stupidity of the American voter. But the only stupidity was that of the officials, and really the primary stupidity was that the officials allowed that thing to be rammed through over the objection of some politicians, I must admit, but overall the American voter. It was rammed through. Hillary Clinton wants to double down on Obamacare, making it even more expensive. Just this year, Clinton called Obamacare, and this is sort of interesting, one of the greatest accomplishments of President Obama. You know this thing is just dead, right? You know it. One of the great accomplishments of the Democratic Party and an accomplishment of our country. It's one of the great catastrophes. My contract with the American voter outlines a plan to repeal and replace Obamacare, and I'm asking for your vote so we can get the job done for Colorado and the families of Colorado. We will have a plan that is so much better and that is so much less expensive. It's going to be beautiful. We'll bring sanity back to healthcare. Real change also means getting rid of the corruption in Washington. As you have heard, it was just announced yesterday that the FBI is reopening their investigation into the criminal and illegal conduct of Hillary Clinton. This is the biggest political scandal since Watergate. And it's everybody's deepest hope that justice, at last, can be properly delivered. Hillary has nobody to blame but herself for her mounting legal troubles. Her criminal action was willful, deliberate, intentional, and purposeful. Hillary set up an illegal server for the obvious purpose of shielding her criminal conduct from public disclosure and exposure. That didn't work. Although it certainly did, because 33,000 emails missing, we haven't seen it yet. However, I think some of these 33,000 were captured yesterday. She set up this illegal server knowing full well that her actions put our national security at risk and put the safety and security of your children at risk. To further cover up her crimes, she bleached, which nobody does because it's so expensive. Has anybody ever wanted to get rid of an email and bleached it? Has anybody? Anybody? Raise your hand. Has anybody even heard of it, right? She bleached and deleted 33,000 emails after, right? Receiving a congressional subpoena. So she gets the subpoena. It's a congressional subpoena. And she says, we better get rid of this stuff, 33,000 emails. She made 13 phones disappear, some with a hammer. She lied to Congress under oath, lied to the FBI on many occasions. And then recently it was revealed that 2 boxes of email evidence, in addition to everything else, went mysteriously missing. That was 3 weeks ago. She even pretended not to know that the letter C meant confidential or even classified. Give it one or the other, right? One or the other. Meant confidential, but at least they can. She thought it was C, meaning like paragraph C. The only problem is there wasn't an A or a B or a D or a D. And her memory went bad with the FBI on 39 separate occasions. As the recent release of a memo from one of Bill Clinton's closest associates demonstrates, the Clintons have turned the government into a scheme for personal profit. That's all it is. Take a look. Are you looking at this stuff? The Clintons even saw the deadly disaster in Haiti as an opportunity to cash in. The people of Haiti hate the Clintons. I will tell you that. They hate the Clintons. They've been used. The WikiLeaks revelations have revealed a degree of corruption at the highest levels of our government like nothing we have ever seen as a country before, including a candidate who boasts to donors about having a public position for the voters and a private position for Wall Street. Hillary put the office of Secretary of State up for sale, and if she ever got the chance, she would put the Oval Office up for sale so fast your head would spin. Well, she did it with the bedroom, right? A bedroom. That's just a small version, though. That doesn't count. Hillary should have been convicted long ago. She should have been convicted. You know, they're complaining about, oh, that's so terrible, they're starting up. Well, they found a lot of emails that were never given. And now it was just revealed there were over 10,000 that they just found. And these, I assume, were never revealed. You're supposed to give your emails. The process and the legal process has been taking a long time. It's very sad that it's taken so long. And now it's reported today, this morning, that the Department of Justice was fighting the FBI. And that's because the Department of Justice is trying so hard to protect Hillary. It was reported that 97% of the Department of Justice's employees, in terms of their presidential contributions, 97% went to Hillary Clinton, which means they don't like me too much, right? 97%. There are those, and I happen to be one of them, who think Hillary offered Loretta Lynch a reappointment as Attorney General. I happen to be one. Perhaps, just perhaps, of course, he said he only talked about golf and the grandchildren. But he was on the plane for 39 minutes. He went to Arizona, an unbelievable place. But there are those that think that when he went onto the plane, that's what they discussed, just prior to a decision being made. He said it was to play golf, but he never played. And I think it was over 109 degrees out. This is what we mean when we call it a rigged system. This is what we mean. It's what we mean. She's under investigation. The plane just happened. Oh, gee, that's great. That's the Attorney General's plane. I'm in Arizona. Playing golf. I went to play golf. It's 109 degrees. I went to play golf. Middle of the summer, right? So that's the attorney. Oh, maybe I'll stop up and say hello. Oh, let me stop. You know, I've had a plane for a long time. I've never had anybody walk off the runway into my plane, ever. I've never had that happen. I don't even think it's legal. I don't even think you're allowed to do it. Anyway, so he's going to play golf. There let's go see. Oh, come on. 39 minutes. No, we talked about golf. I give that 2 minutes. And grandchildren. I give that 3 because they're grandchildren, right? It's more important. What happened the rest of the time? What happened? So I happened to be one that now right after that, she made that decision. And boy, did that cause ripples within the FBI. Boy, oh boy. Now the Attorney General is fighting the FBI because the FBI finally did what was right. But also something that should have been done a long time ago. Perhaps through this other investigation, and that's the investigation of a person that over the years I've known a little bit and watched. Did I call him correctly? Did anybody see? It's called good judgment. It's called good instincts. If you check out the tweets, or if you check out whatever it is I wrote about him, it was so perfect. I said, I can't, and that was done a long time ago. But they found, by looking at Anthony Weiner, a major sleaze, they found what may be some of the 33,000 missing and deleted emails. Isn't that nice? That Hillary tried so desperately to destroy, even going so far as using systems that most people have never heard of. I wonder, is she going to keep Uma? Uma's been a problem. Do we agree? Uma's been a problem. I wonder if Uma's going to stay there. And I hope they haven't given Uma immunity. Because it seemed that everybody that walked down the sidewalk got immunity. I hope they haven't given Uma immunity because she knows the real story. She knows what's going on. She knows what's going on. And the sad thing is, and this is one of the things I said, how can you have all of this incredible, confidential, secret information and have your top person married to this guy? I said, that's the way life works. And everyone said, one thing has nothing to do with another. Well, it turned out it does. It turned out it does. And this is very serious stuff. You know, General Cartwright, James Cartwright, highly respected 4-star general last week, this is a 4-star general, is going to serve up to 5 years in prison because he lied one time, and I think he tried to lie, if you study it, for national security reasons. But he lied one time. His life has been destroyed. He's going to serve up to 5 years in jail. General Petraeus, as you know, for doing a tiny fraction of what Hillary Clinton has done. His life has been destroyed. The young man taking pictures of the submarine. It's a 40-year-old submarine. It's an old submarine. I think whoever wants them probably has them 30 years ago, right? And he shouldn't be doing it. But you've seen his mother, you've seen, I mean, the horror that people are going through. And then we allow Hillary Clinton to do what she did. And there's no retribution. And then people are complaining because they're a little bit surprised that this came up. But honestly, this whole thing should have been over with a year ago. She is so guilty. She is so guilty. She is so guilty. This should have come up a long time ago. But now the evidence, as I would imagine, is so overwhelming, because they wouldn't have done this unless it was overwhelming. And despite that, if the reports are correct, despite that, the Attorney General didn't want anything to happen to Hillary. I wonder why. It's very sad. Folks, we're living in a third world country. This has never happened before. This has never happened before. This is the lowest point in terms of our judicial system. This is the lowest point in the history of our country. Remember that. And when I talk about a rigged system, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. On November 8th, we are going to change things. We're going to change. We're going to change things. We have a movement, and we're going to show that we have a real movement toward common sense, toward honesty, toward so many things. Toward taking care of our veterans, toward saving our Second Amendment, toward Supreme Court. November 8th, the stakes could not be higher. A vote for Hillary is a vote to surrender our government to public corruption, graft, and cronyism that threatens the very foundations of our constitutional system. What makes us exceptional is that we are a nation of laws and that we are equal under those laws. Hillary's corruption shreds that foundational principle, and you've seen it. You've been watching this take place for a long time, but actually it's been going on for years with the Clintons. You can go back to Whitewater, you can go back to the cattle purchase. I mean, she had a better return on cattle than guys that have done it all their lives. That was another beauty. I mean, this is just the way it is. Public corruption is a grave and profound threat to a democracy. Government corruption spreads outward like a cancer and infects the operations of government itself. If the corruption is not removed, then the people are not able to have faith in their government. Now, when you look at what's happened over the last year with the FBI and with the Department of Justice, nobody in this room has more faith now. You have a lot less faith now. But let's see how it all works out. But what happens and what's been happening has never in the history of our country happened before. And I can tell you, you have amazing people in the Department of Justice, and you have amazing people in the FBI. These are great, great people, great men and women, people that love our country. And I want to tell you, I'll bet you, without any knowledge, there was a revolt in the FBI. I'll bet you there was a revolt in the FBI by what they allowed to happen with respect to Hillary Clinton. There was a revolt. And I can be pretty sure of it. It deadens and saps the spirit of civic participation when you see what's going on. Corruption decays our trust in institutions and our legal system itself. When the outcome is fixed, when the system is rigged, people lose hope, not only in the system, but in our country itself. And you understand that. I've seen people, I've gone around, we have the biggest crowds that ever, nobody's ever had anything like this, ever. We had a crowd the other night in Florida that was so big. It was in this massive field, like Central Park. It was this massive field. And they had tens of thousands of people, but they had thousands of people outside. And I said, let them in. And the fire marshals were great. They said, we can't do it, sir. I said, no, let them in. They can't have a fire. It's a field. He said, no, sir, we can't do it. I said, why? He said, stampede. Think of it, stampede. Stampede! And it's a stampede of love. It's not like, oh, gee. But if you had 45 or 50,000 people running forward, and we have 10 tough guys standing up here, they don't have a chance. So, I mean, they use the word stampede because the crowds are so big. It's incredible. It's something that nobody has seen before in this country. It is, you know, Bill O'Reilly said it, I will say. Bill O'Reilly and others said it. It's the single greatest political phenomena, he said, of his life, but many other people have said the same thing. But if our system isn't properly run, it becomes detached and the people become detached. Our society becomes unhinged and unplugged. When the powerful can get away with anything because they have the money and the connections to rig the system, then the laws toward moral authority no longer exist. And I have to tell you, I've been on the other side for a long time. It's not bad over there. It's pretty good. And I understand. I mean, I talk about insider, outsider. Who is more of an insider than me? I understand. But I also understood what was going on, and I also understand what was happening to our country. And I love this country. And our country was going in the wrong direction. We weren't going to have a country any longer. Hillary believes money and power, not truth and justice, should rule the day. As FDR once said, government by organized money is just as dangerous as government by organized crime. Interesting statement. Interesting statement. This is what we often see in third world countries, where the governments are often run by a small handful of corrupt people for their personal enrichment. Corruption is corrosive to every institution of government, and it must be stopped. Restoring honesty to our government and the rule of law to our society will be my highest priority as president. We must and we will save America, and that is why my contract with the American voter begins with a plan to end government corruption and to take our country back from the special interests and the donors. I want the entire corrupt Washington establishment to hear, and I mean big league hear, the words of us, not me, it's us. When we win on November 8th, we are going to Washington, D.C., and we will drain the swamp. I tell people I hated that expression. Started a week ago. I didn't like it. I said, oh, that's so corny. I said, and then I said it, half-heartedly said it, and the place went crazy. You know, Frank Sinatra didn't love My Way. And then he sang it, and he saw what was happening. And then it became the biggest, and he ended up loving it like crazy. But that was a very interesting thing. Drain the swamp. Very accurate. At the core of my contract is my plan to bring back our jobs. Right now, 70 million American women and children live in poverty or near the brink of poverty. As part of our plan to bring back our jobs, we're going to lower taxes on American business from 35% to 15%. We will unleash the full power of American energy, including oil, clean coal, natural gas, and shale energy. We're going to put our miners back to work, and we're going to put our steel workers back to work, believe me. Hillary Clinton has said, by the time we get through all of my conditions, I do not think there will be many places in America where fracking will continue to take place, okay? So we'll pay, you know what we'll pay 5 times more for our energy. Is that okay? That's what's going to happen. She's also pledged to put the miners out of work. You saw that. That was fun. She's going to put the miners out of work. Then she goes to see if she can do well in West Virginia. By the way, she didn't do too well. You saw what happened with West Virginia, great people. And I went to some of the miners. You know, I won in You talk about massive landslides. That was a big landslide. But I won West Virginia. I went to West Virginia, and I talked to the miners. And I said, would you ever think of like going into a different area, like moving to another location and doing something else? And one of them actually had tears coming down his eyes. They love mining. That's what they want to do. Their fathers, their grandfathers, their great-grandfathers, that's what they want to do. They love it. They're great at it. That's what they know. That's what they love. She wants to put them out of business. We're putting them back into business. We're going to have clean coal. Clean coal. And by the way, it's a virtually unlimited resource. In terms of civil defense, in terms of our defense, it's virtually unlimited. You know, everything else has like a life. It's good for 25 years. And I want all forms of energy, including modern technological energy. Windmills are great, but a lot of times the wind doesn't blow, folks. And a lot of times it's killing your eagles and your birds and, you know, things. And I'm all for it. I'm all for solar. I did some solar. They said, Mr. Trump, you have a 28-year payback. Isn't that wonderful? I said, 28 years? That's terrible. What they don't say is by the time the 10th year comes, you have to put new panels in because they're all rotted out with the weather, right? You know, I'm a builder. That's what I do. They say in 28 years, you get your money back. I said, what about the fact that I have to replace them 4 times before I get to 28 years? What happens if I'm not around in 28 years? That could happen. We will become a rich nation once again. But to be a rich country, we must also be a safe country. Hillary wants a 550% increase in Syrian refugees. And that's above, and you have plenty of people moving here that you don't even know about. You don't even know, your government is not telling you. But that's above 550% Syrian refugees. That's above the thousands and thousands of people already moving here from Syria, and we don't even know where they're from. We know nothing about them. We don't know, are they ISIS, are they not ISIS? And we all want to protect them, and we'll build safe havens. We'll get the money, by the way, we owe $20 trillion in case you haven't heard. We'll get the money from the Gulf states. They've got plenty of money. They need us very badly, folks. They need us very badly. They'll put up the money. We'll build safe zones, we'll do. But we can't have them come here. We don't know. You look at all of the problems. You look at Germany. You look at so many different, look at France. I have people, friends, that love going to Paris. They don't go to Paris anymore. They say Paris is no longer Paris. So she wants 550% above the thousands that are pouring in right now under the Obama plan. Not going to happen. The Hillary refugee plan would leave us with generations of terrorism, radicalism, and extremism inside of our shores. I don't think the people in Colorado are into radicalism. I don't think. I know too many people, and they're not into the world of radicalism, okay? Oh, I have so many friends here. Some of them are in the audience. Some are very successful. Some have lost their shirt because of regulation. They've lost their shirts because of regulation. So let me state this as clearly as I can. When I'm elected president, I am going to keep radical Islamic terrorists the hell out of our country. A Trump administration will also secure and defend the borders of the United States. And yes, we will build a wall, and yes, Mexico will pay for the wall, 100%. 100%. By the way, 100%. I wish these very dishonest people would spin those cameras to show the crowd and the enthusiasm. They never do. You know what they see? You go home. You know what you see? My face the whole time. Even I don't want to watch it. And you know what they don't realize? If they did that, it's better television. They don't understand that. Boy, are they going to die in the ratings after this election's over. Man, are they going to die? Are they going to die when they call? I say, no thank you, no interest. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. And they're not watching Hillary, I'll tell you that. Hillary has pledged open borders and supports sanctuary cities. Like the sanctuary city where the killer of Kate Steinle came out of. Under my contract, and she was an incredible young woman, under my contract with the American voter, we are going to cancel all federal funding for sanctuary cities. We will end illegal immigration, deport all criminal aliens, and save American lives. Tremendous problem. We also need a new foreign policy that puts America first, folks. America first, not other countries first. Not other countries. Hillary's policies have caused disaster in Iraq, Syria, Libya, and unleashed ISIS. Hillary and our failed Washington establishment have spent $6 trillion on wars in the Middle East, and now it's in worse shape than ever before. Think of it. We have spent so far in the Middle East $6 trillion. We could have rebuilt our country twice, more than twice if you had people that knew what they were doing. We could have rebuilt our country twice. Our failed establishment has dragged us into foreign wars that have made us less safe. They've left our borders wide open at home, and they've shipped our jobs and wealth to other countries. We go into wars that we don't win. We're constantly going from here to there, to there, to there. How about me? I've been attacked because I was so tough on Mosul. When I heard 4 months ago they were going into Mosul, I said, why are you talking about it? Why are you talking? Why do you say you're going into Mosul? Well, we're going in to get the leaders of ISIS. But don't you understand? These are smart people and tough people. Don't you understand when you say you're going in to get the leaders, they're gone. But they leave plenty of people behind that are good fighters. And it's a tough fight. Whatever happened to the element of surprise? Remember when we were young, we studied. General MacArthur, General George Patton, these were tough people, smart people. Smart people. You know, General Douglas MacArthur, I think to this day, used to be when I was in school, but to this day, had the highest grades ever in the history of West Point. That's great. I think that's great. I'm a person that believes in, that kind of stuff. Maybe I'm wrong. It's sort of pretty impressive. But General Douglas MacArthur was a great general. General Patton was a rough guy. His people would do anything for him. They'd die for him. Today he couldn't make it because he's too tough. Today we have guys that are politically correct. We have politically correct people. We notify. When I said take the oil, you know what they do? They send leaflets. We are going to be bombing the area in 7 hours. Please leave the area. These people are crazy. But I've taken some heat because I said, don't tell Mosul, don't say, you go in and you do the job and talk about it a week later. And by that time you'll have the people. They say, Donald Trump, what does he know about warfare? What do I know? Oh, forget it. Hopefully, we're going to rebuild our military. We're going to rebuild because it's depleted. But it's called peace through strength. I hope, now we're going to have to get rid of ISIS. We agree. We have to get rid of it. But I hope we're not going to have to use our military. Peace through strength. But to all Americans, it's time for new leadership. We desperately need new leadership. Just think about what we can accomplish in the first 100 days. Just in ending. We're going to have the biggest tax cut since Ronald Reagan, and actually it's even a little bit larger. And Hillary Clinton is going to raise taxes. We're the highest taxed nation in the world, and she is going to raise taxes. As Podesta said, she's got bad instincts. Well, she's got bad instincts when the emails are on Anthony Weiner's wherever. Yeah. Ooh. He's bad. We're going to eliminate every unnecessary job-killing regulation. It's killing our businesses. Can get rid of a lot of them. We're going to stop the jobs from leaving Colorado and going to other countries like Mexico. It's a one-way street. They get the money, they get the jobs, they get the plants, they get the factories. We get nothing. We get unemployment. We're going to cancel every illegal Obama executive order. And by the way, this young person just mentioned the wall, loves the wall. But we're going to have a big, beautiful door on that wall. Meaning we're going to have lots of doors on that wall. And we're going to have people come into our country. We want people to come into our country. But they're going to come into our country legally. They're going to come in legally. We want that. They're going to come in legally. Thank you for reminding me, but you're right. Thank you, man. Thank you. Provide school choice and put an end to Common Core, which is a disaster. We're bringing education. We're bringing education local. We're going to rebuild our very depleted military. We have the greatest people on earth, but our military. You know, we have jet fighters that are so old, currently operational, that are so old, we can't even get parts for them anymore. We have to get them from airplane graveyards. That's what we have. And we are going to take care of our vets like our vets have never been taken care of before. Believe me. We're going to reduce surging crime and support the great men and women of law enforcement. And I don't know if you know, you never hear from these very dishonest people in the media. But the murder rate, in the United States is the highest it's been in 45 years. They don't tell you these things. They don't tell you about the fact that good jobs are not available. They've left. They don't tell you about we don't make product anymore, relatively speaking. They don't tell you about that. Highest murder rate in the United States in 45 years. We're going to save the Second Amendment. We got a full endorsement by the National Rifle Association. The earliest they've ever given an endorsement. They're great people, too. They love this country. We are going to protect and conserve Colorado land for hunters, anglers, farmers, and ranchers. And we are going to appoint justices to the Supreme Court of the United States who will uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States. Americans are tired of being told by politicians that they have to defer their dreams for another day, but they really don't talk in terms of days. They talk in terms of decades. Hillary has been there for 30 years, and she's accomplished nothing, only negative. She's made things worse. I see during the debates. Did I win the debates, okay? Did I win the debates? But I see during the debates, and boy, was she tired after those last two debates. Not a lot of energy, doesn't have a lot of energy. She was tired. She wanted to go home and go to sleep. But I was watching during the debate, first debate, it came to me, she's saying, we are going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to. I said, you know, she's been there for 30 years. She never did it. They want to do something with the tax code. That's fine with me. Hey, whatever you want to do, that's great. I mean, I understand the tax code very well. But so do other smart people. I built an incredible business. So do other people that understand business. Her donors did the same thing as I do. I said, Hillary, why don't you change the code? That's okay. I don't mind. Change the tax code. So she complains and complains like a critic, you know. I never liked critics. They always complain, but they can't do anything themselves, right? So I said, Hillary, why don't you change it? Go ahead, change it. Take care of these situations. She was talking about the vets. She thinks the vets are being well served. The vets are being badly served. She doesn't even know they're being badly served. Remember, she made the statement a few months ago that the vets are being well served. Then she immediately took it back when she got probably 10 million letters. It is such a disaster. She is a candidate of yesterday. We are the movement altogether of the future. Our movement represents all Americans from all backgrounds and from all walks of life. We're a divided country right now. We're not going to be divided for long. We're going to be a loving country. We're going to be like this room and the arenas and every place else. There's love. There's love. And there's no better place to be than a Trump rally. Is that right? No better place. We're asking for the voters and we're asking for the votes of Republicans, Democrats, Independents, and first-time voters. And by the way, we have a lot of them. You see what's going on in Florida? They have lines. They never had lines in Florida. They'd have two people in a room and they'd vote and leave. They have lines that are 4 blocks long all over the state of Florida. We're winning Florida. I think we're winning Colorado if it's a straight-up system. I mean, get those ballots in. I don't love the concept of ballots. I don't love it. Get those ballots in and follow your ballot. You can follow your ballot. Make sure that ballot is registered. Make sure that ballot is counted. Okay? You know, we're dealing with a bunch of babies. Well, nothing happens under our electorate. This is the foundations of our country. Well, so is the Justice Department. And so are all these other things that are happening so badly. So follow your ballot. And if you do, I really think we're going to win Colorado and maybe win it big. We are fighting for every citizen who believes that government should serve the people, not the donors and not the special interests. We are a divided nation, but we are fighting to bring us all together as Americans. With your vote, we are just 10 days away. Can you believe it? I've been doing this for 1.5 years. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I've had people call me wrong. They've been calling me wrong for so long. They're not calling me wrong. They're calling us wrong. I watch these characters on television. They don't have a clue. Some of these guys, I watch them, and they've been calling it wrong for so long. And now they're devastated. You know, they're just like exhausted. They don't know that we're going to have a very big victory. This is going to be this is going to be beyond Brexit. I call it beyond Brexit. We're going to beat crooked Hillary big. Thank you. Thank you. By the way, do you believe after this I go to 2 other beautiful parts of the country and I do this again and again and again. And then I go and I rest for 3 hours. And then I get up at 6 in the morning and I do it again and again and again. But you know what? The end result is going to be a big, beautiful victory. Big, beautiful victory. And Hillary stays home. And then I take an hour to cut a ribbon. I want to see the job my kids did building a hotel on Pennsylvania Avenue between the White House. So I take an hour. Now, she sleeps most of the time. She does very little. A tiny fraction what I do. And she said, Donald Trump went off the campaign trail to open a hotel. Oh. And by the way, an hour after that, I was in North Carolina doing this. And she was home. You know where she was? She was home sleeping. Folks, they don't get it. We're just 10 days away from the change you've all been waiting for your entire life. Together, we are going to make America wealthy again. We are going to make America strong again. We are going to make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you. God bless you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Get those ballots in. Get those ballots in. God bless you. Thank you.
What's up, everybody? It's Joe Seals here. I'm the head guy here at the Right Side Broadcasting Network. I wanted to take a minute to thank everybody for tuning in today. We really appreciate the big league numbers that you guys have been giving us. I also want to ask you to please help us and contribute today at rsbn.tv/donate. If you haven't noticed, we have upgraded our equipment. We spent about $20,000 over the last week upgrading our cameras and making things so that it will be a little bit more better viewing experience for you. We have some of the same equipment now that the big guys use at MSNBC, CBS, ABC, Fox News, and we are able to do this only because of you and your generous support. Right Side isn't funded by big donors or any kind of company. We're only supported by you, the viewer, and so to continue doing this, we really need your help. For those of you that have contributed, thank you so much, and for those of you that you have mailed in your donations and included notes and things with them, that means so much to us. We save every one of them, and we will be getting back to you right after the election as soon as we get some time to breathe. So again, thank you all so much. It is imperative that we're able to exist after the election. We have a lineup for you like you wouldn't believe planned for after the election, and it's only because of you that this is going to be able to happen. And if we're going to continue to compete with the mainstream media, Fox News, ABC, MSNBC, CBS, we need your help now more than ever. You guys have gotten us to this point, and you guys are going to take us wherever we're going to go from here forward. And I want to thank all of you. Please donate today. Contribute at rsbn.tv/donate. That's rsbn.tv/donate. If you'd rather mail in your donation, you can also find our mailing address on the side of the page at rsbn.tv, our website. Our Right Side is the only company that follows Donald Trump around the entire country and shows the massive movement at his crowds, the rallies, the lines outside, the massive size of the crowd. We aren't afraid to show it. We spin our cameras around, we turn them, and we're doing that for you. And that's why we got into this in the first place, because you wanted us to and you asked for it. So here we are, and we thank you so much for getting us to this point. God bless you all, and we'll see you back here next time.
from the band Coldwater Canyon, and you're watching RSBN, the Right Side Broadcasting Network, your number one streaming source for all things Trump. You can find Coldwater Canyon's music on cdbaby.com and keep tuning in to RSBN. We'll be right here on the Trump train with you.
We're gonna make America great again. We're gonna make America free again. People have the power to vote that way. All you people screaming USA. We're gonna fill this country with work again. We're gonna bring those jobs back for good again. We gotta make those deals in a better way and keep prosperity here to stay. And now that trains are rolling, all of that self-loathing's gonna fade. So you better climb aboard, 'cause that engine's gonna roar on down the rail. We're gonna make this land of ours one again. We're gonna make this nation happy again. People have the power, so let's act that way. And the UN will crumble and blow away. Peaceful revolution's gonna be the best solution for us all. Wall Street and the bankers who all make this crooked system gonna fall. And the train keeps on rolling, it just keeps on rolling down the rail. We're gonna make America great again. We're gonna make America free again. People have the power, we better act that way. Protect the borders of the USA. Now that we're awakened to the truth, that big old lie is getting stale. Globalists are shaking in their boots, they know they're not too big to jail. And the train keeps on rolling, just keeps on rolling down the rail. And the train keeps on rolling, just keeps on rolling down the rail. And the train keeps on rolling, just keeps on rolling down the rail. It just keeps on rolling down the rail. Gonna bring them jobs back for good again.
What's up, everybody? Joe Seals here.
That one, yeah, I know. It's all lens. Was that a gyro stabilizer? What's that? No, that's just.
Yeah, there's a guy at one of my jobs who won't save money. He's young. He wants to live in a boat. There's a house. I got his parked in 8 feet of water. I need a lot of and a private dock. Now I drive to the marina, but I don't even do that anymore. He's got way pricey. You don't live on them. Yeah, that's pricey stuff. I guess. Huh? $1,000 a month? You're kidding. Well, there's a lot of people living down there. And yeah, it's rough now. No taxes. Through their $1,000. Yeah, yours is such a classic. Be hard to get rid of. There you go. He's around. Joe. My phone died. Joe? Oh, hey. Got it. I thought my phone died. So, did you... Okay. Quality. Right on. Awesome. That's That's because they're going through satellite truck. Wow. Man, I think it was the news from yesterday. This place, I've been watching how quickly they fill up, man. It's just jam-packed in here. It's kind of strange. The reason why there was overflow to the fire marshal is the fact that there was room in the back end of this place. It's just fire marshal.
That's all they know. Okay,